3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Very excited to have this guest on again. Maybe the first repeat other than Rasmin, but I would say arguably one of my favorite girl snowboarders of all time. I've been lucky enough to see this individual move to Whistler, be an absolute keener, love snowboarding so much, eat, sleep, and breathe this shit, and then go all the way to being a pro snowboarder on Burton, one of the best rail riders in the game. We got Maria Thomsen on the podcast again. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Jody. That was really nice.
I mean that too. I mean, like, I was riding through the park like the year before you got on Burton, and the way that you were getting into your switch front boards and your switch nose presses, like full attack mode, like E-man. Like if you're going into a switch press, like there's no tap, you're committing, you're leaning forward. And that's when I was like, she's kind of got it going on more than like anyone I've ever seen in the park. I mean, damn. And switch front board cover years later.
Yeah, I like that one. That was nice.
That's as good as it gets right there.
Been trying to repeat that one or replicate it, but yeah, I don't know if I can do it any better than that.
I feel you. That's a switch front board on a C-rail cover. That was Method, was it?
Yeah.
The cover?
It was Method. It was in Iceland.
Who shot that?
Theo.
I don't think I've met Theo before, but great photo.
Yeah, he shoots a lot of the Methods photos, and is European. He is from UK, I think. I'm gonna butcher his last name if I say it, so I'm not gonna.
We'll keep it at Theo.
Yeah,
Theo, great photo, black and white Method cover. It's funny when you get the opportunity to take a trick that you were so good at in the park, and then go film it in the streets, and then for it to be a cover of one of the biggest magazines. That's a big achievement. That's kind of like a bucket list for young Maria wearing Tech 9, I'm sure.
Totally, yeah. Oh my God. No, for sure. I mean, any cover too that you're hyped on yourself is such an honor, I think, to have these days, and that's probably why we practice so much in the park. You know, we were there yesterday and we were practicing everything that we want to do in our video parts, but it just takes some time to like really nail it down and then take it to the streets.
That's funny. Yesterday when we were riding the double jump line, we were spinning some laps together, and you're like, what are you going to do? I was like, well, we're both going to Japan shortly here. And I was like, I'm going to try and just do tricks that I'm going to try and film in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, well, those are the tricks that I'm going to try and film. Do you do tricks in the park that are for the park? And do you do tricks in the park that are for like filming?
Yeah, for sure. Like,
and do you prioritize the ones that you're going to try and film for the year?
I think I do. Depends on like early season, for sure I do, because you're going to have to film your video part. But I also kind of really like to just do stuff that I'm really bad at. Like sometimes if you catch me in the park, you're probably going to be like, whoa, who is that? She sucks. But it's just because I kind of like to, the stuff you're good at, it's like, you don't want to keep doing that. You kind of want to keep progressing and like do all like the stuff that you don't know how to do.
You either do all your stock tricks all the time as a pro or an am, because you kind of get a little bit insecure about looking good, not the best 24/7.
Right.
Or you take an opposite approach where you're like, I'm in the park to fucking learn like everybody else, and I'm willing to flail my hands, fall, and learn new tricks in front of everybody else here who's trying to learn. And are you somebody who's willing to battle and fall in the park in front of others, or do you want to look perfect 24/7?
No, I don't know. It's kind of like, for me, I'm not like there to snowboard in the park for anyone else. Like it's like my practice ground, I think. And I think I told you, but I can't fucking do a method anymore. And it's so embarrassing. Like since my knee surgery, I just like can't like really get it, and I look so stupid, but I'm doing it every day, and I'm like, fuck it, like there's only one way I'm gonna learn it, and And I was with Teo too, and he was learning them, and he got them before me. But this is the only way we can get better. I think it's like looking. I don't know. I'm not one of those that always look good. Like I think that's how I'm going to progress, and I think it's important.
I like that approach. I also follow that approach. Sometimes I'm feeling it, and sometimes I'm not. And the thing about injuries is that when you get a bad injury, like a knee injury, maybe you perfected the method beforehand, or you like the way you did it. You take an injury, then you have to like relearn that trick, but you also, the fabric in your knee down to like its tissue is kind of rewired. So your method is probably going to look a little different. So you kind of have to replay with it to find like, maybe I can't go back foot up super high. Maybe I got to grab in front of the nose where I used to grab in between the bindings and make some adjustments because of your injury. Right. I've definitely found after like some shoulder injuries and stuff, my arm placement is just no longer this. It just can't be the same. It's like my style is altered forever.
For sure. And yeah, and sometimes you have to go back and you have to learn trick, and it can be kind of frustrating, but it can also just be kind of fun because, I don't know, to learn old new trick again is like
old new trick.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's part of it. And sometimes we lose tricks, and sometimes we learn them again.
Okay, one trick that you always wished you had dialed in the park so you would have the confidence to take it to the streets.
A back lip.
What? I saw you switch back lip multiple things and back lip things. Or that's what you're trying for right now.
Yeah, no, it's a secret. No, I don't know. I do back lips, but like I'm always kind of scared when I do a back lip and a switch back lip. Both of them. Like, so I always try to do them lots, but they're not like a comfortable trick for me.
I mean, the way that you were doing them in the last 2 days looks like you were very comfortable because you were riding in front of me, and when you jumped onto that switchback lip, which you did, I think, 3 times in a row, you're kind of in a club if you have a good switchback lip.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of bad switchback lips to do a good one, I think. For me, at least. Like, I always try with the back switchback nose press, and then like you go that way, so you kind of build it up, and then a lot of bad ones until you get a good one, I think.
I mean, if you're really good at switchback nose presses, eventually which you are, and switch front nose presses, which why you're probably so good at switch front boards is because you're down to put some heavy weight on that like switch front foot.
Right.
And then you're just thinking about like, okay, I just got to kick out my back foot. Because
Totally.
I know that if you can do switchback nose press, you know how to get your back foot over the rail so you're not going to tink.
Yeah, it translates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about back 270s? You ever get good at those?
No. Oh my God, I haven't done a back two in I want to say 10 years. I remember I used to do them back in West Park when West Park was a thing, but I think I need to learn that trick again.
Oh, it's such a sick trick.
It is.
I had a good one too, but then I tinked. My nose went under the rail at a contest, and I tacoed, and I was the guy in the landing going, and everyone's like, "Oh, when everyone panics and they're scared to initially like come over to you because they're like, ooh, that guy's really hurt. Like, who wants to deal with him?" That was me.
That was you. Oh shit.
I never did go back to the back 270, but I do appreciate that trick a lot.
I do too. I think that I've seen Henna. She's got a really good one, Henna Ikola, in the park, and I bet you she's gonna film one in the street this year. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Spencer Schubert's got a good one. Jed Anderson's got a good one. Tommy Gesme's got a crazy one. That switchback 270 he did, and I don't know what video it is, but he switched back 270s onto this kink like so perfect.
So good. Maybe Jill. I can't remember if she'd done one or she tried them. I think she does them in the park. I don't know if she filmed a clip. Sorry.
Okay. Maria Thomsen's opinion.
Okay.
Who's the best female street boarder right now?
Jill.
She's so good.
There's lots of good riders. She just have a style that you can't like beat. She looks so good.
She does. Good kits too. Whatever she's inspired by. I'm always like, damn, fucking trucker hat crooked to the side like Eddie Wall, but like just looking so dope.
She looks annoyingly good. Who was it actually? I'm gonna call her out. She's always like, she's definitely fully straight, but she's like, if I was the slightest, if anyone, it'd be Jill. Sorry.
One thing that we can't overlook right now is that you made a homemade batch of milk for us? Or what are we drinking here?
Homemade Baileys.
Okay, homemade Baileys. What's in it?
There's some cream, whipping cream, 10% cream, some condensed milk, some Irish whiskey, some chocolate syrup. I think that's the last. There's one more secret ingredients, but I can't give up my recipe.
Okay, yeah, it's really good, and the Irish whiskey is delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice treat. I haven't gotten a treat here since Tatum brought me some fresh focaccia the last time we recorded, which was really nice.
That would be nice. Yeah.
So you guys, for anybody else who's ever going to be on the show, just, bring some
some gift. Yeah.
Bring a gift.
Yeah, it's a Christmas tradition that carries on the whole year. I think.
Family tradition?
In my family, like this started from myself, I guess, like making stuff. But then, I love Baileys, and I kind of drink Baileys all year round. But yeah.
Okay, it's January 16th today, 17th, 20th. Shit, I haven't looked at it. Okay, it's January 20th. Do you still have your Christmas tree up?
Yep.
That's
no
savage.
shame. I'm going to Japan on Sunday in, 5 days or something like that, and I'll probably leave it up and then take it down when I come home.
Okay, what's the reasoning by it? Like, why do you want to keep the tree up here?
But to enjoy it. I like it.
Is it watered, and is it or is it frail and dead, or is it still? Does it got some lush in it still?
No, it looks good.
What?
Yeah, it looks
Good
really good.
maintenance.
But I cut it down in like a week before I left in December, so I only got to enjoy it for 1 week. So that's why I'm keeping it. I got to enjoy it. And then I spent Christmas at my parents' house, and my mom is not really, I don't know, she didn't really want a real Christmas tree, so I had to go buy a fake Christmas tree, and I was so embarrassed because I don't think you really do that. I was like, this is not for me. Sorry, I'm buying it for someone else. But so I had to come home and enjoy the real one.
Okay, you've touched on it a couple times here. You're headed to Japan.
Yeah.
Is this a first or a second time for you?
A first. My first time in Japan. Can you believe it?
I'm very excited for you because I think anyone who goes to Japan for the first time is absolutely blown away by more than just the snowboarding, the people, the culture, the food. Huge fan. What are you looking forward to most about going to Japan?
Eating.
Food.
Food. No, I'm excited because there seems to be so much snow right now, and I don't know where else there's snow. So just riding the snow, the POW, and the culture. I like going new places. It's really nice.
Totally. You might as well take it in while you can. Who are you going there with? I'm
going there with Ilva, Takaru, and Seb Powell.
Oh, wow. Good crew.
Yeah.
And what will you be filming for?
We're filming for a Burton Red Bull movie. That's all POW. So this will be my first time kind of trying to film some POW shots. But I'm going there for just the soul shredding, right? That's what you told me to.
I told you to go there with don't put so much pressure on yourself. If you're not a POW rider and you're going on a POW trip, you still know you live in Whistler. You know how to snowboard in those conditions. You know, Zeb's going to do a front 10 double tail grab.
Yeah.
And just don't compare yourself and just be like, I'm just going to flow down the hill, or I'm going to do a cool melon over this tree, or whatever you want to do. Don't overlook that, because it's going to look it's going to translate on film totally different. It's going to be tough to not absorb that energy of Zeb and want to do a 1 foot McTwist.
Totally.
But don't do that.
No, maybe I'll try.
Don't be anybody but Maria.
Totally. But I think that, I know that by now. It's kind of nice to just when you film, you want to be doing what you're good at, and just that's why I'm doing it. But I don't really, I just never done it before. So I'm like, oh, that'd be really interesting. But it's kind of nice to just step out of your comfort zone a little bit.
What would make this trip successful for you? If what do you want to come out of that Japan trip with?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's gonna be successful no matter what, just going there in itself. But hopefully film a couple of clips, ride some good POW, and have a good time. I don't really have super high expectation. I'll just kind of go with the flow and try my best.
Okay, if you were asleep and you were dreaming about your favorite Japan POW clip that you could get for yourself, What would it look like?
I would film some back or front 7 because I'm going to call my TM out. Nigro told me he will take the team to Hawaii if I film a 7. He might have said it was 100 for jump, which is not going to happen, but we're keeping that out of there.
Shout out Zach Nigro for that.
Yep.
If Zach Nigro takes the team, like, so everybody on that trip gets to go potentially to Hawaii.
I think like the Riders Summit. I think all the riders.
Yo, there is so much pressure riding on you right now.
I know. But we're going to the park right after here, and I will try to chuck a few.
Where, are you going to go back Sev tail?
I would probably go back 7, yeah.
I saw you doing a bunch of back 3 tails yesterday. Those the
Working
access works for a 7.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Just one more 360, a little bit bigger, and then just think it's all POW below you.
Right.
If I was Zeb and the rest of that crew, Ilfa and who was the 4th? Takaru, I would be building you a jump
Right.
every day
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get a 7. It
That's
is
all we're
worth.
doing.
I would be logging some serious hours trying to get you that 720 if I knew I could go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But
We were a couple margaritas in, so I don't know if these are real facts, but I'm putting it on the podcast, so it's, it's the truth.
okay, which one do you like more right now? You're going to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
you're riding POW, you mentioned soul boarding. That's a whole new kind of chapter for Maria. That I feel like is opening over the steel boarding Tech 9 Maria that we got over here. What do you enjoy more right now? Do you enjoy riding in the streets, or do you enjoy this idea of transitioning into like a backcountry rider more?
Both. I think that
You're in the hybrid world.
I just always liked both. Like, I mean, I lived in Whistler for so many years, and it's not like that I haven't rode any POW. Like, I love when it's a POW day. I obviously always go POW, but I think I'm just like better, and I always had I liked just getting the trick and the steel, and like, I don't know, the filming, like the video parts and stuff for me was just like more drawn to like the street snowboarding. But I don't know, I could have picked POW probably too, and then just like followed that path, but I think I just kept that for like myself a bit more.
I like that. Keeping the POW for yourself. On that kind of note, just because I feel like out of respect, I will just bring up that Craig Kelly passed away 21 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
As of yesterday. Shout outs to the GOAT. I feel like he had that kind of approach at the end of his career. In fact, I rewatched Let It Ride, a Craig Kelly documentary last night. And he speaks on just that, just at the end of his career, that he doesn't really need the cameras and the photography in the backcountry with him at all times. Like, it's kind of like, yes, of course he wants to get filmed and stuff occasionally, but it's more for him.
Yeah.
Where, like, I imagine that if you're going out to switch nose press a kink, that feeling is a little bit different than riding down, an open, gladed run where you can just see bottomless turns. You're like, this is kind of for Maria.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I can still get that feeling, whether it's POW or park sometimes too. Like when you're filming, like most of the time you're like, don't actually get to snowboard that much. And then, so I think you probably feel that too. Like in the spring when you're done, you filmed your video part, you're just so excited to just like ride anything really for you. Like ride down groomers, ride in the park. Like it's just like, you don't have the pressure of any cameras, anything. It's that you just get your days on your board, which we probably all love that so much. And yeah.
I love when I'm feeling on and I'm riding well, but I still have this thing where I beat myself to a pulp if I have like a day where I'm like feeling off. Like, for example, yesterday, I was like, let's go down. You're like, I hated my last run. We got to do one more.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wanted to go down, but I was like, I feel that. Like,
Yeah.
I hate that feeling of getting to the parking lot and feeling like I just didn't feel good today. And that happens.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody who wants to be great at their craft, you have to put that little bit of pressure on yourself to be like, no, I am better than that.
Yeah.
But you also need to know that, you're not going to ride your best every single day.
No, for sure not. But I think that the more you ride, the better you feel on your board. And for me, like, that's so exciting right now because I feel like I haven't been riding that much in the last, I don't know, I guess couple of years because I had like a big knee injury. So like I'm getting like so excited about just like feeling good on my board right now, and like riding the resort is like so exciting because that's when you feel the best, is when you have a lot of days under your belt, at least for myself. Like it's when I like know like I'll ride every single day. It doesn't matter how good or bad it is, but just like because the more you ride, the funner it is because you can like do more too.
Yeah, getting back into the mountains after an injury is always special. It's almost like, I look at it like you take things for granted in life, and until they're taken away, you don't realize how amazing that thing is.
100%.
Like it's still amazing to go up on a shitty day, on a socked in cloudy day with a couple friends, and you just board slide down some ice and then you go in for a coffee. Like that day is amazing.
Yeah.
And when you can't do that because you have a knee injury, and you come back and there's some icy park days, you're still like, it's pretty fun to be up here though.
Totally.
Like I missed this. This was dope.
Yeah. And I think that that's like something that, I mean, injuries just suck, but there's always something good that comes out of it, whether it's like a little bit of appreciation, like that you maybe didn't have before, like that really, like you kind of have to see like, what can I get out of this shitty injury? Like what good stuff is going to come out of it for me?
Yeah, was there a silver lining for that injury that you had? You kind of missed 2 seasons there. Like, was there something that you extracted from that time away from snowboarding?
I think just like I have a lot of energy, so I always try to like put energy into something else. Like I learn new stuff. Like it took took a hunting course. I tried to start a guitar. Like just lots of other things that you can do with the same energy that you were before using towards snowboarding, like take it somewhere else. Yeah, I always just try, and then slowing down. I'm kind of ADD a little bit, so I try to like see if I can chill and do a little bit less, almost like trying not to multitask and just like tone it down for a bit and just be. But it's much easier said than done, I think. But yeah, there's always something good that comes out of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing about injuries, is that when they happen, maybe I just lie to myself where I say this happened for a reason. I think that there's some people that just hate that saying, it happened for a reason, and like they lost whatever.
Yeah.
Like some people, you lose somebody to cancer and it happens quick and they were young. You're like, fuck you, that happened for a reason.
Totally.
But I twist it for my own life. But I just like, I have to in order to like get through certain things. And so when I do get injured, like I had a bad concussion a couple years ago, as soon as I got over the feeling of feeling off, and I still couldn't snowboard because I wanted to give that some time. I was like, okay, what areas of my life have I been neglecting, and like what areas of my life should I work on? And there was a lot of things I learned in that time. During COVID, when you had to like remove yourself from so much, to like ask yourself, like to be honest with yourself in the mirror and not fool yourself, to be like, okay, where am I fucking up? Mm-hmm. And like, I do that when I get injured. I do that when I have time away from everything. And injury puts you on a couch, so you only have you and your thoughts.
Totally.
And so there's some time there to reflect on if you're moving in a good direction in life. And sometimes it's really hard to ask yourself if you are moving in a good direction.
For sure.
And often I feel like people will lie to themselves that they are headed in a good direction, but if they really look at like what's maybe hindering them growing, they kind of know the answers.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it can be easy to get distracted from that too when you're like busy and everything is going well, and like, and you're so focused on snowboarding. I had actually when I blew my knee, like back in 2016, I did my knee too, and they got these x-rays or something, and they found like all these tumors inside my bones. And at that time, I was so focused on snowboarding. Like it was snowboarding and Teo was the only thing in my entire life. That was all I thought about. Like, and then they had they thought I had bone cancer. Luckily I didn't. So it wasn't, but like there was a couple of weeks where I was going for all these scans, and like the shift in my own life where I was like, what the fuck? Why do I care about, like, I can't front board like I don't flat down or something like just like the thought process of like how my life had been before and all I cared about kind of opened up. Like I feel like I learned a lot at that time, and I was like, whoa, like life has so much more to offer than just like snowboarding. And yeah, I just learned a lot at that time, and I got to like kind of like open my eyes to a lot of other things that life have to offer other than just snowboarding, where I was kind of like a little bit like tunnel vision before.
Yeah, I wonder if that's also just like a specific thing that happens to young adults. Because what I found from like mentoring a lot of these younger, 18 to 25-year-olds is that they all think like that. They're all hyper focused on their thing, whether it's snowboarding or gaming or whatever they're into is like their thing. They identify with it, and they are the ones that are like beating themselves up to a pulp if they can't front board through the kink a certain way with a certain kit on.
Totally.
And it's until something maybe something kind of big happens, like you might have bone cancer, where it puts it all in perspective, where you're like, whoa, the front board isn't the big end all be all right now. Like, last night having dinner with my uncle and aunt was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
But like when you're young, you're like, I don't even want to go to my uncle, like my cousin's birthday, and I have to get up on the mountain late that day or whatever, and miss this contest or not be able to film. Like those things, like they piss you off and they feel like a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it's until something like you might have fucking bone cancer where you're like, whoa, like this, like, you have a kid, you know what I mean? So it puts it all in perspective. You're like, I'm a mom. I am like, if I have bone cancer, like, what does this mean for my child? And so it puts it all in perspective.
Yeah.
And you're like, the front board on the kink can wait.
Yeah, totally. And snowboarding in general, I was just like, whoa, like I just kind of like rethought how I'd like been thinking about like, I was just thinking about snowboarding all the time, and like, so it's nice to, I don't know, it was something good came, it was nothing bad, and I didn't have bone cancer, so it was all good, but just like the period of like opening my eyes to like other things was really nice.
Yeah. It's also such a special thing that snowboarding like gives us this flow state, and where once you do it and you're into it, the top to bottom run, there's nothing other than you focused on that thing in front of you, because you are so in love with this thing. And so everything goes out the window. So let's say if you, maybe not you, we'll pinpoint me for this. Like I have this devastating weird cancer. Knock on wood, not going to happen. But I do. Getting a couple laps on the hill, for that brief moment, it'll like that, you would remove that from your thought process. That's why snowboarding is so amazing, is that if you are going through some type of shit, maybe not the shitty cancer thing that I plugged there, but maybe just something like, you lost a loved one, or you're financially fucked right now. It's like if you go up there for some fresh air and you get some runs, there is a point where you can kind of clock out of that stress.
100%.
Which, so kind of a dance. Yeah,
it really helps. Like, and it's so good to, I mean, any exercise, anything that you're passionate about, like just really help with like your mental health. And I think I'm realizing that I'm super ADD, and like I just know that I need to go like do some, like burn some steam, use some energy on something, and then I'm like a much happier person like in those periods, or like when I do that. So yeah.
Do you find it hard to juggle professional snowboarding at your level and parenting?
Yes, I do. It's kind of hard to leave, but I mean, Teo is 10 years old now, and in a way it's a bit easier, but it's hard to be like, I'm going to Japan for 3 weeks, and I'm like, whoa, that's a long time, like to be away from him. So sometimes it can be hard, but I think the harder year was probably when he was younger to like be away.
Yeah, now you're a little bit like, hey, you're older and stuff, and you guys have kind of set up that this is kind of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the one that's sad to leave. Like he's kind of like, woo, mom's leaving. Like it's good. Or like I'll call and he'd be like, hey, can I go on plane? And I'm like, for sure. I just need to see, like, I need to see a good. Whereas like years ago when I would call, he would be like, come home, and like cry. And I was like, coming soon. So yeah, there's like, I think it's just me now that I'm like, oh, I can't be without you for 3 weeks. But
Is there like a drive that when you are away from your son, maybe not right now, but earlier, that if you went on a trip and you weren't productive and you didn't come back with like, good clips, good photos, you're like, why was I away from my kid?
Yeah.
Like, if you were there, you probably got some sort of motivation to be like, if I'm here and if I'm spending time away from my family, I am coming home with something that makes me feel like that was worth it.
Totally. I always think that I was working so hard because I was like, as soon as you don't always know. Sometimes things just doesn't go as you plan. And like when we had like bad days, so if I wasn't being productive or landing tricks, I would get so homesick. Like I was like, oh man, I would exactly get those feelings. Like, what am I doing? Why am I here? But I mean, you can also get those feelings when you don't have a kid in the streets. Like, and I think that it's just part of it. And yeah, it's definitely always better when things are going well.
Yeah, I've heard UC Oxenden speak on that a bunch, or maybe, sorry, not UC, Mikey Rentz speaking on UC's behalf, that like when he came up here from California at the time and he was spending time away from his kid and his wife, he was like, I am here to fucking work and get clips and grind and make it happen.
Yeah.
And as soon as this window's out, like I'm going back to my family.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining with those younger years, like with a son or daughter, like those are crucial years in that child developing, and you want to be around for those years.
You do.
So you need to like play this like, okay, I want to be a professional snowboarder, and my kid is going to learn a lot from me being a professional snowboarder because they'll see a mom who's chasing their dreams, and in turn that'll probably like sit with them and they'll be inspired later on to be like, no, it's important to go after what you love, and that's fucking incredible. But you also still need to be there enough to instill that to them.
Totally. And I don't think I was ever homesick before I became a mom, but like I'd get this like, just feeling of like needing to be home. But I think that it's also it also has a lot of good things. Like when you're home too. You're not going on a job from like 8 to 5 or something, 9 to 5. Like you're there the whole time. So like you might take some time away, but you're also like really there when you're there and like present,
Did you ever think about walking away from professional snowboarding because you had a kid? Or from this dream that you had?
No. I know. I don't think I ever thought about that.
That's so sick.
But I didn't become professional until I was a mom either. Like I didn't make like that enough money. I don't think I was professional before. I wasn't, but I don't know if my life has changed that much, professional or not. Like obviously when you're professional, you have like more obligation, but like snowboarding was like still such a big part of my life before that I was like, oh, this is the drill. Like I work in the summer and I go film in the winter, even though I wasn't making money. Like it was just like the same process, like as now almost.
Oh yeah, there's like a formula that we've followed.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Like this. But I feel like a lot of people would have struggled to be like, no, this is what I do. I have a kid. I should walk away from that. I think it's really inspiring that you're like, no, this is what, like, you love snowboarding so much and you love the act of filming and the whole thing and the whole ethos of what it like means to be a snowboarder, that you're like, I'm not changing that because I had a kid. And I think that I think a lot of people, given the context of their situation, should chase after that.
Yeah. I think that there was a lot of people that probably thought I should have toned it down or changed my life. I remember like talking to people and I was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Like it kind of like just annoyed me because I was like, why wouldn't I be able to do that? Like I can still work in the summer and like go film. I just was like, I'm still doing what I did before just because I have a kid. Like it's not going to change. Yeah,
I think a lot of people would be like, oh, it's risky and stuff. It's like, well, life is risky.
Totally.
You know?
you never know when it's going to end. You better make sure you live it up when you're here.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. That actually goes full circle to that whole Craig Kelly plug. He actually had a quote. What was it? As a general rule, it's better to live in the moment because if you plan for the future, you might just not get there.
Right.
And it's so like true. A heavy quote, but like it's so true. Like live in the moment because the moment is what you have. Would you say that you're somebody who spends their time and their thought process thinking in the past, present, or future?
The future, I don't. The past and the present for sure, I think. Like I think about the past sometimes. And more like I'm not like one that make like big plans. I'm like, oh, I don't have like a goal list or something like that. I'm like, I don't know, kind of like just plan a week ahead is even like if people ask me like what I'm doing like more than a week ahead, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Would you like to be somebody who plans for the future more, or does this like live in the moment?
No, I don't like that. Like I think that I was kind of like raised in that environment. Like I think like our school system, like especially in Denmark too, like the future, like what do you want to be? And like everyone is like really highly educated, and like my parents' expectations, like, okay, so Maria, when are you gonna like, shouldn't you like start saving up for this? And I don't know, like I think I had that mindset maybe before moving to Whistler, and then like we're all kind of a little bit like crazier. Like I don't know, the lifestyle here is kind of like it's pretty like present, I'd say, like in general. If you look at people here, and I think I just changed, and I was like, I don't know. Like I just kind of like, I don't want to know what I'm doing in 5 years. I just kind of like right here and like what I'm doing now. And if I don't like it, I don't know, I'll change. And even like if my mom asked me about, well, shouldn't you could go to like to Denmark and go to school for free maybe after. And I'm like, if like snowboarding ends for me, I'm still going to snowboard. Maybe I'll work at the grocery store. I don't know. I'll figure it out by then. Like maybe I'll take a job in a farm, on a farm or something that I like, but I don't have like big dreams of career dreams or something like that other than where I'm at.
I like that because I feel like so many people do have these like grandiose dreams. And if you like a lot of like self-help books are all about like write down your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, because then that's like where you're headed. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there's like a one size fits all solution for that. Like I think that everybody is such a unique character, and trying to be like you brought up the school system there, it's like everybody needs to be a square and they need to fit in the square, but that every kid isn't like that. Like no. And as somebody that really struggled in the school system growing up, because I'm such a hands-on visual learner, and school is all about like read this and then you know this, and I'm like, I can't read without flipping upside down in the chair and taking my pants off. Like I was just fucked, you know what I mean? I had so much energy, and like these teachers were like, well, this kid's going to be a failure. And I'm like, and now I look at like what those teachers who would have been roughly my age now accomplished and did with their life. Like maybe they were super happy doing what they were doing. All I'm saying is that I carved my own path, and where I'm at in life right now, which is unique to me, seems like it was a good call. Like I got to experience life in a really amazing way. And it was through not following the structure that the school system had built out at that time. And I think that the school system hasn't changed much in the last 80, 90, 100 years. And it's pretty wild to see like where we're at, like with self-driving cars and stuff. But the school system is still like 24 desks in a row, buzzers go off, X, Y, and Z. It's like we're not inside of a fucking industrial fucking we're not making like panels for the sides of fucking trains anymore with our hands.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I guess I experience it now from like going to like school meetings for Teo, and like they're like, oh, he's like really struggling to focus and sit still, and I'm like, well, yeah, I am too, so it's really hard to teach. Like, I don't know, like he is my son, you know, like, and I understand it is hard to sit still, especially if it's something you're not interested in. And I think it's good. There's some good things to learn in school, of course, like it's like the social skills, like learning to be like on time and like show up for something, or like there's definitely some good aspects of it. But I also think that it's like, it's so hard for kids to sit still for that long. And yeah, it's the school system needs like a little bit of a new way, I think, personally.
Yeah, the one thing about schooling I think that's important is it teaches kids to do things that they don't like and do it anyway. Because as an adult, your whole life is filled with doing things that you don't want to do, but they need to get done. Yeah. But there needs to be a balance of how that's taught and an updated formula that's not so I don't know. It's just outdated. And I see like, I guess I don't see, I feel bad for a young Jody who's still like, it's sad that they're still teaching the same way that they taught me, the same way they taught my dad. And I think a lot of kids, if they don't have a parent that's supportive, like you or my parents, who are like, yeah, go to Whistler for a bit and experience that. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are still like, go to school, you're 18 now, go to university or college, get the job, and then you follow that. You wake up at 25 and you're like, fuck this. Like, I didn't even, like, 18 to 25, I would say, are the years that you should experiment with everything. Not substances here, but like go and find yourself, you know?
Yeah.
You might want to be like a lawyer at 18, and then you might travel the world, and at 25, you're like, man, I really like cooking. Like, I don't know. And then at 30, you might change again. It's not so much like our parents' generation were like, your dad was on the farm and you'll be on the farm, and and it's like, well, maybe I don't want to be on the farm.
Totally, yeah. But like, we do need some people to be our doctors and our dentists and all this stuff. So it's good that there are some people going
But
there.
some people like that, I think.
Totally.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
I think there's some people that are like, I really fuck with teeth. I don't know what it is, but I love I just want to grind those things up. And you're like, fuck yeah, thanks for being here, but I don't want to do that ever.
No, I know. Oh, yeah. It's yeah, I'm so happy I'm not in school.
If you could tell Teo one lesson that you would love for him to know for his like whole life, like what would you want to like?
Oh my God, I don't.
Well, it doesn't have to be like the one most like, you know, significant thing, but it's like one thing that you would like him to carry.
I don't know. Like recently, like two things is like I really try to teach him, and it's kind of hard for him to like understand that, but like. He can pick the outcome. Sometimes he's in a bad mood, and I'm like, you're picking you're in a bad mood. You don't have to. You can pick, like, to be in a good mood and accept this. Like, almost like it's really hard, but that is really hard to teach kids that, like, you decide the outcome almost, you know? Really, yeah, I'm trying to tell him that when he's, like, angry, and, like, a little kid at 10, like, sounds weird, but he doesn't know how to, like, really manage his anger and his energy sometimes, and, like, that's hard to teach. And then I always try to teach him too that it's okay that he's not good at everything. Like, he'll be such a perfectionist sometimes in like drawing, or he's not super good at math. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, just like know that some, like, whatever you're good at is what you're going to succeed at. Like, it's okay to try, and that's the only way we're going to get better. But, like, find what you're good at and just enjoy that instead of, like, beat yourself up that you're not good at math. It's okay. Like, you still have to try, but, like, do you know what I mean? I
do. I know exactly what you mean. I think that it's important for somebody to learn, like, the fundamentals of math, because I think that, you know, you want to be able to, if you're in the garage and you need 2 screws and then you need to times it by 5, that you can do simple math to be like, okay, I need 10 things.
Yeah.
But then there's like then it goes on to like, all right, let's talk about SOHCAHTOA and pi over here. And you're like, okay, do I really need to know what goes beyond 3.14 what? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Unless you're going to move into being like, I'm going to be an engineer, then of course, those things are really important and maybe they tickle your fancy.
Yeah.
But if they don't, and you're someone like Teo and he's like, I'm imagining with his upbringing and what he's around, he might be like, I kind of want to learn a banging kickflip.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's cool. Like, learn the kickflip.
Hey, I have to on a side note, I learned a kickflip, and my dream was just to do it actually before Teo, and I just landed one this fall, was it? So yeah, that was a highlight of my life. And I'll always keep that against him. But
yeah, mom got a kickflip before you, buddy.
For real. But what was I just gonna say? I was just thinking that, I think life is just like, for us too, for everyone, it's just like finding out what you're good at and then like following that way, because like that's where we're gonna succeed at, wherever we're good at. And like, you know, we still have to take to that lesson, like in our own life, like you and I. Yeah,
and you can't find what you're good at unless you try things. So If you're one of those people that are like, I'm not good at anything, it's just like, maybe you've been doing a lot of stagnant. You've been just chilling. It's like, draw. If you've never done drawing, draw for a bit. You know, if you've never picked up the guitar, pick up the guitar.
Yeah.
You know, if you've never done math and you've never really lean into things.
Yeah.
And then you will find out if you're into those things, but you're not going to find out if you kind of give up on day one of everything.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many opportunities these days to start your own business, to do whatever, like edit, take photos, like all these stuff that you can, like we can even learn, and you probably learned so much from starting this podcast, but that you can like use in like outside of snowboarding too.
I've learned what I like about the podcast and what I don't like about the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain aspects of it, like editing, that I don't hate, but I don't love it. I don't want to be an editor.
Yeah.
Some people love sitting in front of a computer and piecing together the movie.
Uh-huh.
And they're really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people aren't. I also feel like not every kid needs to lean into social media. I think that's the boom of right now.
Yeah.
But I think that like moving forward, there's like being somebody that's good at working with your hands and working in something like trades.
Yeah.
If you're great at trades, be good at trades, and you probably have a lifelong skill that no one can take away. That's you can apply it to the real world. But like, I don't think that like filming yourself, editing yourself as somebody who's done that is good for you. It's like, it's really unhealthy to edit your own audio.
Yeah.
You give it a try. It's the biggest, it's the worst thing ever. And I started during COVID. It was fucking terrible.
I dig that opinion. I'm not into social media for kids at all. And like, I don't know, they're watching like shows on YouTube where people like, they're watching other kids play instead of playing themselves. But I'm so strict with that stuff, but maybe we shouldn't dig into it because we're going to go down the wormhole so bad.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what we'll do? Instead of wormholing into talking about YouTube and shit, we'll do a full 180.
Okay.
And we'll go into a little bit of steel talk here.
Okay.
Presented by K2 Snowboarding. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Currently, right now, I'm riding the Alchemist. It's my favorite board. I would argue it's the best snowboard ever made. Try it for yourself. If you like hauling ass and rip and pow, and hit me up if you have any questions. The K2 Alchemist. Try it out. It's amazing. All right. First question we got here. We're going to move through the line here. There's about 10 questions. Kind of one short word answers, you could say.
Okay.
Maybe not short, but like, we'll keep it condensed.
All right.
It's going to be, we're talking about steel here.
Okay.
Filming. Okay. Most played city to film in.
I would have said probably like Quebec before, but I think I'm going to, city, Helsinki.
How much snow should a city have before you rally the troops?
2 centimeters. I've done really bad. Yeah, you can make stuff happen with no snow.
Did you say rally the troops if you got 2 sannies on the ground?
If you're desperate, yeah. I'll say that was probably 2 centimeters when I was just in Jyväskylä filming.
How did that trip go?
It's hard.
I'm saying rally the troops if there's 2 feet. I want to be able to lip slide, come out early.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would go really low, I'd say, before I'd rally the troops very low tide.
You like doing trips on low tide?
No, but like you just got to. Like, it's not always you have like the prime conditions.
Yeah, but what's the ideal amount of snow before you rally the fucking troops?
I like it this much.
Okay, she's talking about a foot.
Okay.
Okay, thoughts on Tim Hortons?
I hate it.
Fucking legend. I mean, too. Do you detune your edges? If so, how much?
No.
You do straight?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you're serious?
Yeah.
Maria, you savage. Is that the new thing? Like, does everybody go?
I'm super lazy.
I'm super lazy.
Yeah.
Love the honesty. Okay. Would you rather pull bungee or run the winch?
Run the winch.
Really?
Fuck, I hate bungee. Oh my God. I don't think I would probably swear that I'll never pull a bungee again today. Like, I hate it. Don't tell me you love bungee.
Fucking hate the bungee. But the amount of times I've been hit with the winch cord and the bungee, they're both, to me, I don't think I would hit a spot ever again with either.
No.
Maybe if I needed like just the initial like move-in speed,
Yeah.
you know, but the whole act of holding on to a bungee or a winch,
It's
letting go of the thing in front of me,
yeah.
it flops in front of your board. You have to carve around it, and then you fly off this. No.
No.
You-
I would do it, but I would never tell anyone that I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually quickly, I didn't finish it, but I started Seb Toots' new video.
Mm-hmm.
I got about halfway in, and then I had to be a good husband and watch some TV with my wife because I'm also leaving to Japan for 3 weeks, so I wanted to hang out. We were kind of going over, she wasn't watching Seb's video, I was. We hit the middle part, and Seb had a winch clip that he kind of like spot, like was like, I'm winching in.
I saw that, and I was like, why? Why?
I was like, damn, like that's I don't know if I was like hyped because it seemed like it was 2012 again,
Maybe.
or like I was just surprised to see it like accentuated
Yeah.
in the video rather than like removed. I know some people here are just like, who gives a fuck? But to me, it looks too much like do you know when wakeboarders like don't have any way of getting speed and they
Yeah.
get a winch in like a river and then they hit a box, and I'm just like, it just looks like wakeboarding.
Yeah, I think we can both just agree that you should just not winch or bungee. I might have done it on the last trip, but I wouldn't tell you if I did.
I wouldn't tell you. I would lie to you. Here, have some more of my whiskey. Or what is this? This milk whiskey.
This is Bailey's, Joe.
It's so good.
Milk whiskey.
Milk whiskey. Okay, how many bungee pulls is too many?
One. I'm not down.
Nick Elliott was telling me that he was pulling bungee for a homie one time uphill, and then the homie was not committing to hitting the spot.
No.
Imagine pulling bungee. So if you don't know what we're talking about, it's like this massive elastic band that's super hard to pull, and you get like 3 people pulling this motherfucker uphill, and then the person hitting the spot isn't committing to hitting the spot. You're like, yo, bro, you gotta hit. You gotta stunt.
Dude, the first time, I remember I bought a bungee in Tahoe, and we went to hit this like rail, which is in the first place. I don't know why I was doing that, but yeah, it was my first time even trying to hold on to a bungee, and I just didn't get it. Like, I would be like, this thing would just pull me, and I would fall, and I like was almost in tears. Like, I was like so over it. I didn't understand it at all.
So Maria hates the bungee because she can't bungee. She got limited bungee skills. Yeah, I'm not a big bungee
not
guy.
enough arm strength.
All right, how high should a jump be onto a rail these days?
However you like it. I'm a little bit of a sucker for higher. I got small legs.
Hey, at least you're being honest. Small legs. So you're talking about the height of the jump should be in proportion to leg ratio.
Dude, however you want it, that's gonna make you hit the spot. Who cares? Like, just
What if it's 2 inches onto the rail?
nobody's gonna do that, are they?
Well, you're just saying who cares?
I don't know.
You're like a leading figure in this street world industry. So
I'm probably known to build too big lips, so if you go back and look, you'd probably be like, yeah, that's probably a little bit too big, but it's okay. I'll own it.
She's owning it. What time should you get up in the morning to get ready to hit spots?
That depends, I guess. When we were just in Finland, we were up at, I think, 7 because we had to build the spots, but then we didn't have light till like 10:30. I guess it all depends. Like, if you have all day, get up whenever you want. I kind of like early start.
What's early? What time is the alarm going off?
Like 7.
Yeah, I think
7's
that's respectable. I
like,
think that's a good time.
I kind of like not rushing, so I kind of like slow morning. Like, get out the door 8:30. Sometimes 9 if you have a whiskey milk or whatever you call it.
Depends how many whiskey milks you're having.
Yeah.
How many is too many on a rail trip?
5. I'd 4 is okay. I think 3 is ideal. 4 can be okay. 5 too many.
Party spots or individual spots?
I think individual, but I do love I love boarding on party spots, but nobody wants to see it.
I know what you mean, but to me, if there's like a down rail or something that's easily hikeable and sessionable, like the act of hitting a spot with a bunch of homies and then you kind of get fueled off each other, I really like.
Yeah.
Depending on how unique the feature is, you know, if you're hitting a yellow hubba off of a roof into a cool bank and it's only like a 50 or a board slide kind of thing, you kind of want to hit it alone and just like, you know.
For sure. I think that I enjoy mostly like the single person spots, but I really like riding on party spot. And there's room for like 1 or 2 party spots in a movie sometimes, like depends. It's definitely fun.
What do you say when you drop in?
Drop in.
Really?
I think. I don't know. Drop. I don't know. Let's go. Give her. Give her. I was saying that and I was just with Henna and she's like, give her. What does that mean? And I was like, it's a redneck thing. I don't know. I don't even know if I say something like probably go, drop, whatever.
I've been probably steady on border for about
okay.
I think 8 years now. Since I filmed with Mount Mountain the first year for Sub City, all those homies were like, border.
Oh.
So I just adopted that, like, because I thought like Nick or Frank's. I think it was Nick. I just think Nick's hilarious. So Nick was like, border. And I was like,
maybe I'll use it. I don't know. Maybe I change it. I have no idea, really. Sometimes I black out up there.
How many 50-50s is too many 50-50s?
I think you could do 50s if it's cool features. I think. I don't know. 2 is good. You have 2 50s.
2 50s. What's one trick you don't like in the streets, if any?
Anything front one out. I just don't like that.
5-0 front 180.
I don't like it.
Me neither. So hard to do good.
Yeah, I think I have filmed one that I used in the King Snow movie, and I don't know why, but I hate that trick.
Was it a tail press front 1?
I think so.
On which rail?
On there's like this down rail with stairs after. Did I do 5-0 front 1? I think I did. Let's not highlight that. This is forbidden.
So the 5-0 front 1 is forbidden. I like that pick. I don't like that trick either.
No.
Speaking of that quickly, like I watched the Lax Open. Did you watch it?
A little bit. It's hard to follow for me.
Those rail tricks, those contests the kids are doing right now. It's just like, I don't know who they're looking up to for inspiration. I think the judges right now, maybe they all need to get fired. I don't know who they are. But based on like what's going on, like it's like kind of wakeboarding, like batwing to blind rodeos out of rails to kind of aerial skiing mixed in with the rails. I'm like, whatever just happened to people doing, like, imagine if somebody did a backside 5-0 back 180 on like the down rail, or like a switchback nose press half cab, or like real rail tricks.
Yeah, but those are technical. They're hard to like do again and again. Isn't that? It's contest tricks. It's kind of like what it is.
But one kid should lean into the technical trick. And I'm going to shout out Seb Toots here. Seb Toots had an insane back one switch 50 that he would do on like the longest rails. Yeah. Like the skill set in that, rather than like the 2-7 450 stalefish dunk, or like 50-50 back rodeo or whatever, like the whole thing has turned into a jump contest and they tap the steel.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't love it.
Actually, I don't want to talk shit because they're so good.
Oh, they're way better than me. And here's the thing. Most of them, I would say, could do the tricks that I'm talking about, but they don't do it because they know they won't get rewarded.
Yeah, maybe.
So if you do a switchback lip to switch on the gap 2 rail, they're like, it's not going to get rewarded as well as the switchback 270 450.
True.
So I'm just going to switch back 9 over this rainbow and tap it in the middle, which I think like once you get that fundamental access onto any of those features, they can just do it. And I'm like, as somebody who grew up taking skateboarding and trying to replicate that on the snow, which is like what Jeremy Jones and JP and Tara Dakitis and everybody did.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what snowboarding rail riding to me should look like.
Maybe we need to get you in on the judges.
I don't want to be a gatekeeper, but I'm kind of down to gatekeep.
Get him in. I think you do good.
I mean, I'm a big fan of all these kids. Like everyone who podiumed there, like you guys are fucking ripping. But like, I just feel like there should be a bit more of a gold standard. And shout outs to Mikkel Bang, who would always do switchback lips to switch at the top of his run. The best. All right, that was it for Trench Talk by K2. Moving along here quickly because it's been 1 hour exactly, and Maria needs to go up and get some laps in. So you're headed off to Japan. You're looking forward to that. You are filming. That's for a Red Bull project?
It's a Burton Red Bull movie that's been filmed last year and this year.
Sick. That's coming out in the fall?
Yeah.
So you can check you out in that. And then you also went to Europe and you were filming for what? Another thing?
I'm filming that I think I'm not allowed to say yet, but it's coming. With Ilva, Henna, Hundi, and Telma, I believe, is the crew. Yeah, I'll probably be filming more street in the after Japan trip with them.
Okay. 2 of your favorite clips that you've ever filmed. Maybe like 2 that you're just super hyped on. Doesn't have to be like in order, but 2 clips you're very proud of. You're hyped on them. You like the way you did them.
Wow, man. I don't know. Probably the switch front board on the C-rail that we already talked about. I like that one.
Let's go through that clip a little bit because it's so fucking sick.
Iceland, and you just have really crazy weather, so it's not every day that's a board day. So we did a lot of chilling, and I had like seen the C-rail, and I was like, oh, I really want to, like, I just really like the look of it. And sometimes I don't really know if I like am capable of the tricks that I'm like want to do, but I was like, oh, it'd be really sick if I could do it. I don't know, guys, we might be here for days. But it was like super rainy, snowy day. Not like the most, like, everyone was looking a bit sad, had plastic bags around them. Ilva, Day was filming, Theo was there shooting, and Nora was there. Gun Show was filming too. Icelandic legend. And yeah, kind of like a lot of tries that didn't look like I was ever going to land it. And then just one locked in, made it to the end. And yeah, that was it. I don't know, that was it. Not like super scary, which is kind of nice. Just like a good feeling of doing it.
I think that was super scary. Switch front board on that. If you commit to the inside too much and you get on your toe edge and you slip on that thing, like, I don't really think about switch front board slip outs, but a downhill C-rail to me seems like if you start focusing on the end too much and you don't get your balance point, that's a switch front board taco. Bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was like, you know, sometimes you're hitting a spot and you're so terrified. But that was, I don't know. I wasn't like terrified of hitting that spot. So that was nice. And not a clip. I don't know. One clip that I kind of like, but it's like really goofy, is when I filmed for Real Snow. It's like this like 50 on like a flat rail into actually another C rail where I'm doing a front board. And I just was there for 4 days. And I couldn't get the trail. Like, I just couldn't get it. But like on the first day, I got this swivel, and it's pretty bad, but it's so funny that it turned out to just be one of my favorite clips, because I was like, fuck, I got this on the first day. Never really got what I came for, but just like, I was like, let's throw it in there anyways. And then just the goofiness of it, I'm like, oh, I'm down with it now.
Yeah, I like a lot of your clips, so I could go on for a bit. But another one of them, that the front board 270 and the underpass, the like front.
Oh yeah.
That clip's insane.
Oh, thank you. I walked away, thinking that I didn't get it. Actually, I was like, that was a full battle. I was so like wet, and like, I just like, sometimes I kind of go over my time because I'm like, oh no, I want to get it perfect. And I was like, I didn't really like, and in my head, because I didn't watch any of them, I'm just like, no, the feeling that I'm looking for. And I never really got that day. I was like, fuck, I got to keep going. And like, kind of like ended the day apologizing almost to the crew. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, you guys had to stand here all day. Like, I know it was, like, people had to pull me in because there was not enough speed. And just like everyone just stood there for so long. And I was like, sorry. And then, yeah, went home, looked at the footage, and I was like, oh, that one works. Yeah, that's classic. I do that sometimes. Yeah, it's hard to stop though sometimes when
It's
you're like
very hard to stop.
and you're like in your head you're like I'm just going to do one more like quickly and then like I don't know
Hours. Days.
and eventually you're so tired you don't even really know what the fuck you're doing. You're just like in this like repeat mode and like you're like should we look at the footage now? And yeah, luckily there was one.
Pro tip is that when you're going to hit a spot, you're most likely going to come very close within like 5 tries.
Yeah.
And so don't get lazy. The amount of times I've done like a pretzel trick or a 270 out trick and I get to the end of the rail perfectly locked and I'm like, I'm kind of lazy. I'll do it next time. And then you're there for 8 hours and you're like, why didn't I put a bit more effort into that 180 out that one time? I could have done it. I just assumed I'll get it next run. And then you're there. Everybody's standing in the rain.
Classic.
The vibes are terrible. Then you go home and you watch it and they're like, oh, you already got it.
I know.
Why were we there for 8 hours, Maria?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Scandinavian bath pass for you for being the biggest badass and for juggling parenting and doing such a good job and your knee injury and overcoming that and just being a fucking legend. So have you been to the Scandinavia before?
I have. I love that place.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that place. It's my favorite place. Thank you to the Scandinavian Spa for supporting this podcast. We're a big fan, and hopefully you have a nice day of relaxing and icing and feeling amazing after you leave that. We also have a pair of Skull Candy Dime headphones for you.
Wow.
In case you need some headphones before we go up to the park.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Skull Candy. And on that note, we have our final 10 questions for you. Best style currently and back in the day.
Currently, Jill and Tommy. Back in the day, like how far back?
Anyone ever.
I mean, he's still doing it. I was gonna say Louis, but he's still in here. But like he's just been doing it for so long that he's like a favorite from back in the day and now.
Yeah, shout outs Big Lou, legend. Did social media ruin snowboarding?
Yeah. Sorry.
Nice. Okay, something you know now that you wish you knew when you were younger.
Not to be scared of looking stupid. I don't know. I think I thought about that too much when I was young. I don't care now.
What keeps you up at night?
Hitting a scary spot.
Most underrated boarder.
Bryn. He is kind of getting recognition now, but he's been good for so many years, and I know he is getting recognition, but he deserved like the most.
Favorite POW boarder.
Oh, it's hard. I really like Austin, Sweden. He looks so good and fun, and yeah, he just float through everything.
Well said. Love Austin Sweden. Dream vacation.
I think I want to go to Morocco.
What the fuck's Morocco?
Morocco. I want to go surf Morocco. Should it be snowboarding?
I don't know what's Morocco. I don't even know what that is. Is it in Italy?
Morocco? No, it's in like the top of Africa below Spain.
I love that place.
Really?
What's there?
Know Morocco?
No, I don't know.
Surfing. Surfing. I've been trying to go to Kazakhstan for years. Kind of a dream place, but everyone's always shutting me down. So, yeah.
Like the border or friends who want to go on the trip with you? They bail.
They're friends. They don't want to say it's sketchy.
Okay. What's in Kazakhstan?
Rails that I haven't seen. I don't know.
Oh, you want to go and film steel there?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's kind of like to go new places and I never been, and I was like, that's gonna be different than, I don't know, Scandinavia or east side of Canada.
Take Demo. Go for an airtime fucking TV fucking episode.
You want to go, Derek?
Okay, career highlight.
I think being the first girl to film for X Games Real Snow.
Fuck yeah, that's actually sick as fuck.
And maybe winning part of the year was pretty high, like big highlight for me.
Yeah, video part of the year is a huge one.
Yeah.
Like that. What would you consider like? Is there anything that you want to knock off your bucket list that's like in that realm?
I think mostly I just kind of want to film like the video parts that I'm hyped on for myself. Like, I mean, it's like a bonus if you win anything on them, but mostly you just kind of like want to be satisfied yourself, which you're probably never. Like, you know, I would just like to do one video part where I was like, that was it. I can't do it any better, but like that's never gonna happen.
No, that never happens. Even Nicholas Mueller's like, I could do better.
Yeah.
All right, who is the GOAT?
It is Jamie Anderson. I love her.
Fucking right. Huge fan of Jamie too. Any shout outs? What's next? Anything you want to plug at the end here?
I mean,
Take the mic, run away.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. That was fun. And yeah, thanks to my sponsors, Burton, Modest, and Empire. All my team riders. Just happy to be in the space still. Yeah. Thank you.
Maria, thank you for coming on the show. We're all a big fan. Enjoy your trip to Japan. Have fun.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on the show.
Let's go shred.
Take care. Peace.
3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?